one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record show that all members of the Newark City Council are here this evening. I'm going to go ahead and pass up on the presentations and proclamations for a moment because we have a very important person with us this evening. Our Supervisor Marquez is here. I'm going to for a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we're so proud to be able to welcome our district supervisor, Supervisor Elisa Marquez, to our great city of Newark. As many of you may recall, when Ms. Marquez was first appointed to the Alameda County Board of Supervisors, her swearing-in ceremony was here in the city of Newark. And we are so proud that she chose Newark for that great opportunity. Let me give you a little bit of Ms. Marquez's background, because I think it's important for you to know, her where she stands on certain issues, because there's certainly a lot of agreement between this council and Ms. Marquez on a lot of the issues that she's advocating for. She's a lifelong member of our communities. And I'm going to have to raise this up so I can actually read it.
I'll hold this for you.
She continues to advocate for real solutions to our housing challenges at the county level. This includes expanding options that lower costs, increase home ownership, and promote common sense protections for renters, especially for low-income children and other families, seniors, persons with disabilities, and other categories. And as you know, the city of Newark has made affordable housing a real priority for this community. Any developer that wants to develop in the city of Newark, the first question this council is going to ask is, how many of those units are you going to be made available for those that need affordable housing? As the chair of the Public Protection Committee, Supervisor Marquez is focused on ensuring that first responders, public safety professionals, crisis communicators, and nonprofit providers have the resources and training needed to keep everyone in our community safe, while also investing in essential community infrastructure like St. Rose Hospital to safeguard access to life-saving care in Alameda County. We, the city of Newark, also advocated for continuing St. Rose Hospital because we recognize St. Rose oftentimes services those that are low income, certainly members of our community. We want to make sure that everybody has access to health care. I saw Supervisor Marquez just this last week as we opened up a fire training station out in the city of Dublin. So she has emphasized and focused on the importance of public safety, and her actions speak as loud as her words in that regard. Supervisor Marquez is also passionate about access to high-quality education for all as a daughter of immigrant family with a deeply rooted, strong work ethic. She serves as the vice chairman of the Alameda County Together for All, or ACT, ad hoc committee to ensure the county is prepared to support local residents, especially immigrants, refugees, LGBTQ plus community members, and those seeking comprehensive reproductive health care from harmful federal policy and budgetary actions. Supervisor Marquez holds a master's degree in public administration, is deeply committed to making local government work as a former council member in the city of Hayward. Wants it to work for all residents, workers, and city officials who share her vision of a safer, cleaner, brighter future for Alameda County. Please take a moment to welcome Supervisor Marquez to the city of Newark.
I apologize that my back is turned against the community members, but thank you so much, esteemed mayor, council members, executive staff, community members, and just everyone listening in. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. My name is Elisa Marquez, and as the esteemed mayor said, I am a lifelong resident of South Hayward, and really just want to be here to, I believe strongly, my ethos, my values are to connect, engage, and serve. So I think that's one of the most important things we could do as a public public servant. So I'm here tonight just to share a little bit about my background, and mainly just to share with all of you that I want you to know that District 2 is here to serve everyone in this community. So I want you to see my office as a resource, particularly when it comes to the safety net services that the county is responsible for providing to all residents in Alameda County. How many of you here are familiar with Social Security and where their office is located in Hayward? It's a very popular office. They're on the 5th floor. My district office is on the 1st floor, so it's easy to find. And just want you to know, again, we are a resource. And as the mayor had mentioned, a little bit of my background, this is a brief overview of my public service timeline. I think it's really important for people to know. Many of us that are electeds serving in this capacity, we didn't just wake up and decided we wanted to be elected officials. We really got involved and volunteered in our communities. So I started back in 2004. I was appointed to the Human Services Commission in the city of Hayward, subsequently the Planning Commission. I also served on the Sustainability Committee. I was appointed to the Hayward City Council in 2014, elected in 16, re-elected in 2020, and then appointed, unfortunately, due to a very sad circumstance. I am in this position, unfortunately, due to a huge loss. We lost Supervisor Richard Vyatt in February of 2023. That's what created the vacancy on the Board of Supervisors. Went through a very competitive process for that appointment and was selected in April of 2023. I did my community swearing in here in these chambers, so thank you so much for being a community asset and a partner. I just absolutely love the civic campus. And then I was elected to the Board of Supervisors in March of 2024. And a little bit overview of the county. Established in 1853, Alameda County is home to approximately 1.6 million people. That's as of January 2024. We are the local arm of government for our unincorporated part of the county. So in District 2, that includes all of Hayward, all of Union City, all of Newark, and portions of Fremont. My district does not have any unincorporated part of the county within the district, but being one of 5 of the board supervisors, we are the local municipality for our unincorporated part of the county, and we make decisions in terms of land use decisions, local ordinances, we set policies, approve budget. It's really important that the public also know that the county budget is dependent on state and federal funding. That's 60% of our budget. The photo on the top here was taken at Newark Days. That was 2 years ago. Had the honor of participating in the parade and just really loved the spirit and the sense of community here in Newark. Whenever I come here, it makes me feel really connected to folks. It's very open. Everyone's friendly. I think everyone looks out for their neighbors. So it's really something special. And the reason why I wanted to share my background in local government, because it's so important to acknowledge that every community is different. They have their own nuances and things that they're focused on. So I just want you to know that I'm here to listen and hear what your priorities are for your community. It's not my place to say what's in your best interest. I'm here for you to tell me what you care about. The picture below is taken at Science in the Park. This is a biannual event. Last year we hosted it at Cal State East Bay, and we've raised money for our local school districts. So we've given a lot of money back to Newark Unified School District, and we really want to just expose young people and their families to different career paths in STEAM. And so the mayor was there, other local electeds, and we had a really fun competition, and it was a great time. I wanted to highlight some of the investments that we've made in Newark. Since January of 2024, we've issued 11 community grants, totaling $93,902. These grants have gone to Newark Unified School District, Solid Rock, Newark Little League, League of Volunteers, Viola Blythe, Ohlone Humane Society, Avanzando, and Newark Rotary. And one of the most pressing things we see coming out of Newark in terms of requests are issues facing food insecurity and issues around housing. So those are what the requests that have been coming into District 2's office look like. I want to personally thank your wonderful, amazing mayor. When I was exploring this opportunity to even apply for the vacancy, it was very clear to me that the biggest assignment for the region for District 2 was ensuring that St. Rose Hospital did not close. And the mayor has been an instrumental partner in that. Every single time my office has needed a letter of support, he's called Alameda Health Systems, he's called the Board of Supervisors. So I want to personally thank you, Mayor, because keeping the hospital open, this is the only safety net hospital in the region. It serves Newark, Union City, Hayward. It serves a jurisdiction of over 400,000 residents. And last year, there's over 23,000 visits to the emergency room. And because of that collective effort, the hospital is not closing. Effective November 1st, they're now an affiliate with Alameda Health System. So, thank you. So these are some photos from the advocacy, all the work we've done. I'm going to be at a press conference tomorrow morning to announce if you need access to the emergency room, we're open. There's very short wait times at St. Rose Hospital. So please see that as a resource. They've also opened a subacute unit, which we know is extremely important for the aging population in the region. So just want to let the public know that that is a resource right off of 880 off of Tennyson Road. Regional impact, again, we discussed science in the park. This is really a key focus for our district, making sure that we foster interest and support STEAM education. It was really amazing to see so many young people out there engaging. We had lots of support from public safety as well, and want to encourage the entire public to get involved and join us. We're going to have this event again on Saturday, October 5th. This was last year on October 5th, 2024, but it's going to be, I believe the date is October 3rd of 2026. So please save the date. And we want to hear back from you. What do you want to see at this event? What other programming do you want to see in your community? Another very important initiative for District 2 is investing in our young people. When I was on the Hayward City Council, I was very proud to be one of the decision makers to award the first time ever $20,000 grant to Raising Leaders program. We just awarded on the Board of Supervisors a $4 million grant through probation, a multi-year grant. So we're investing in young people, introducing them to different career paths and giving them internship opportunities. So since the program has started, 11 students from Newark have completed the workshops in fall of 2024 with the cohort of 5 students, and 5 of them were selected for internships. I also want the public to know about this opportunity, Raising Leaders, to expose our young people to different career paths. Above is a photo at one of our county fire departments, and then below is one of their graduations. And the next cohort will be graduating this upcoming Saturday. So really proud of the work that the young people are doing. I feel it's very important to invest in our young people and to expose them to opportunities. Just want you also to stay in touch with our office. If you have any questions or concerns about Medi-Cal, CalFresh, any issues with property taxes, affordable housing, I want you to see our office as a resource. On the top, you'll see a photo of my field representative, Ifosa Orhu. She would be here today, but today is her birthday. So we believe strongly in work-life balance, so she has a day off. And then to the right is my district director, Ronnie Lachey, who's driving back from Sacramento because he attended a conference there to learn more about the state budget. And then down below is the entire team. To the left is my chief of staff, Alex Boscovich, my advisor on public safety, Brenda Gomez, Maria Long, Ifosa Orojo, and Gabriela Christie. Many of you may know Gabriela. She is grew up in Newark and has a strong relationship with many community members here. And then Mr. Ronnie Lachey to the right. So those are phone numbers for the Hayward office, the Oakland office. Please sign up for our newsletter. We launch that every month so you could stay informed on what's going on in the county. And again, just thank you for the opportunity. Just wanted to make sure that everyone in Newark knows that District 2 is here to serve them. And if they have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. The only thing that the supervisor got to mention, and I hate to correct the record, but the Science in the Park. My recollection was the city of Newark won the Science in the Park competition with our various city partners around the area. Just saying, when Newark comes to compete, we generally come to win. Colleagues, if I may ask your indulgence, I'd like to get a picture with the council and the supervisor down at the podium if you have a moment.
Got it.
Let's hear it for our supervisor. Supervisor, is that your computer? I want to make sure. No, that's ours. Oh, it's ours, okay. You got to watch these county people. No disrespect to county, but, you put some heavy, expensive equipment out there, you're just not sure. This thing is just going to continue to slide, isn't it? Okay. When you get old, you have reading glasses. So all you young people that are out there that don't have reading glasses yet, get ready. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is National Victims' Rights Week. And this is an important event. There's a lot of folks that suffer out in our communities as a result of crime, and these are advocates for those that have been exposed to crime, and we want to certainly take a moment to thank them for the hard work that they do. So if I can invite the folks up here to accept the proclamation. Hi, nice to see you. So I beg your indulgence, folks. It's a long proclamation, but certainly well worth it. Whereas more than 26 million people become victims of crime each year, and these crimes affect family members, friends, neighbors, and coworkers. The Alameda County Victims Witness Division is dedicated to ensuring the rights of crime victims and their families by providing services to aid in their recovery from the emotional, psychological, social, and economic impact of crime as they reclaim their sense of safety, well-being, and dignity. The Victims Witness staff assists victims of crime without regard to a person's race, gender, religion, nationality, sexual orientation, gender identity, or immigration status. And I emphasize the immigration status because you recall when we did our census recently in the state, we, the city of Newark, reached out to any resident in our community, irregardless of immigration status, because at the end of the day, we're providing service to all of our residents. So we made sure that folks understood that as a resident of Newark, if you're the victim of a crime or you see a crime occurring, please call us. It's not a question we're going to ask you. All we are concerned about is your safety, your family's safety, and the safety of the community. Whereas the Alameda County District Attorney's Office Victim Witness Assistance Program was first such program established in 1974, beginning with the Victims Advocate. Today, the Alameda County District Attorney's Office employs more than 50 individuals dedicated to working with victims of crime. Whereas in 1984, the Victims Fund was established by the Victims of Crime Act to provide a permanent source of support for crime victims, services, and compensation. Alameda County's District Attorney's Office Victim Witness Assistant Division partners with survivors, community service providers, criminal justice professionals, and victims to enhance a criminal justice system response that is accessible, culturally competent, and appropriate for all victims of crime. Whereas in 2024, the Alameda County District Attorney's Office Victims Witness Assistant Division provided over 2,112 services to more than 124 victims in Newark, just in Newark. Let's see if we can't lower that number next year. That would be our goal. Survivors of homicide, victims of human trafficking, crimes against elders and dependent adults, sexual assault, domestic violence, robbery, and other crimes. For victims of crime without independent financial means, the District Attorney's Office facilitated financial support through the Victims Compensation Program. Whereas National Victims' Rights Week provides an opportunity to celebrate the energy, creativity, and commitment of advocates for victims' rights. Now, therefore, I, Michael Hannon, the mayor of Newark, on behalf of my colleagues on the city council, hereby declare April 6th through the 12th as National Victims' Rights Week and reaffirm the commitment to respect and enforce victims' rights and address their needs and express our appreciation for those victims of crimes who have turned personal tragedy into a motivating force to improve the response to victims of crime and build a more just community. So I issue this proclamation number 1934 today, and want to thank you for being here today. And yes, Stephen? Thank you. Please.
Thank you.
We're going to be wrestling with all night.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, city staff, and members of the public. My name is Carmen Martinez, and I serve as a advocate witness in the Alameda County District Attorney Office Victim Witness Assistance Division. Victim witness advocates support crime victims and their families by providing assistance while navigating the legal system, updating them about the progress of the case, explaining their rights, preparing them for court, offering emotional support, even understanding during testimony, and assisting with application for resources to receive therapy, medical expenses, lost wage, or relocation cost. I am honored to be here this evening on behalf of District Attorney Ursula Jones Dixon to accept this proclamation recognizing National Crime Victims' Rights Week. This proclamation is our shared commitment to support survivors, which reflects the agent's Dixon belief that victims and witnesses of crime deserve to be heard, uplifted, and treated with dignity. And also, I have the opportunity to say I am the survivor of victim of crime.
Thank you for the courageous work you do every day. Nobody knows the impact on a victim other than someone that's been victimized themselves. Your sensitivity and compassion to those that are victims, I'm certain, comes forth when you deal with folks that are victims of crime. So thank you for your advocacy and the hard work that you do day in and day out. And I just want to take a moment to thank all of the police officers that are in the room this evening, because in my estimation and that of my colleagues, they are also victims advocates themselves, because they're typically the first responders to victims of crime. And it's their compassion to those victims that hopefully makes those tragic events a little bit more seamless when it comes to then working with your office. So thank you to our public safety officers for the hard work they do day in and day out. So this is Fair Housing Month, and as we talked about the supervisor's advocacy for affordable housing, fair housing is important as well, because fair housing was established to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to rent or buy a home. So it's my pleasure to invite Christina Soto, the Executive Director of Echo Housing, to join me, if she's here. Yes. You're a regular attendee now to our council meetings. I know you were. Nice to see you. Thank you. I'd also like to invite Dave Stark with Bay East. He's the Chief Public Affairs and Communications Officer. Sanat Thee, member of the Local Government Relations Committee, and Diane Johnson, member of the Local Government Relations Committee, and they're with Bay East, and they can stand to my right. When we talk about fair housing, we talk about it in a variety of areas. One, with Echo Housing, it's wanting to make sure that people that rent are getting the quality of housing that they deserve. Okay? We have too many folks in our communities that may be undocumented, and they're afraid to call and advocate for themselves to make sure that the housing that they're paying top dollar for meets state standards. And Echo Housing is here to make sure that those that do rent in our communities are given the opportunity to have decent and safe housing. So the first proclamation, number 1940, will be to Echo Housing, whereas the Fair Housing Act, enacted into federal law in April of 1968, established a national policy of fair housing with goal of eliminating racial segregation and ending housing discrimination for all who live in the United States. Whereas the Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, and national origin. Whereas the fair housing is a positive community goal and benefits the environment and our communities. Whereas the city of Newark is a community of inclusion strengthened by its diversity and acts of housing discrimination and barriers of equal housing opportunity violate our shared value of decency and fairness. Whereas the Eden Council for Hope and Opportunity, Echo Housing, was founded in 1964 and incorporated in 1965 by community volunteers dedicated to equal housing opportunities and the prevention and elimination of homelessness. I love when organizations start with volunteers. You see a sense of need in your community, and rather than wait for someone to step up and say, you know, we need to form a committee or an organization, you get a group of volunteers who say, you know, we can't have this in our communities, and they step up and volunteer. Whereas Echo Housing's primary service component continues to be equal housing access, reaching over 3,000 clients per year with housing information referrals and assistance, and in recent years adding services directed to intervention and prevention of homelessness. Now, therefore, I, Michael Hannon, the mayor of the city of Newark, on behalf of my council, recognize that the city of Newark as an inclusive community committed to fair housing and further advocate for equal opportunities for all residents and prospective residents of Newark. So it's my pleasure to present you with this proclamation. And thank you for the outstanding work that you do. It's greatly appreciated. Feel free to say a few words.
Good evening. This is my third time in Newark since February, and I want to
coming you back.
And I want to let you know that I was sharing with my boyfriend that if I could move closer to our Hayward office, it would be Newark. I love it here. I was here on Tuesday for your guys' new resource center. That's going to be opening up as well. That we're hoping Echo will have office space there as well to provide more service here to Newark. I want to thank all of you. Stephen is great. He was my first contact about a year ago, and we are making headways towards what we hope will be a great and long-lasting partnership. And I want to thank the mayor and all the city council for everything and for helping us to be able to accomplish our mission of equal housing for every single person in the city of Newark and in the county of Alameda. Thank you.
And when we talk about fair housing, we can't forget the need for fair housing to be available to all that want to either purchase or rent homes as well. And that's where Bay East has been a real advocate for folks wanting to buy their first homes. And it's a challenge these days. Home mortgages and prices of homes in the Bay Area are extremely high. But this dedicated group of real estate agents, and we have a number of them that live here in the city of Newark, do their best to try to find homes that meet your needs, but not put so much of a financial burden on you that you're not going to be able to keep the home. Times have changed from when we were back in 08, 09, and 010, when those issues didn't matter. So it's my pleasure to issue Proclamation 1931 to Bay East, whereas I'm going to skip the first couple lines, which kind of talk about, again, fair housing, because I know they support that mission. The city of Newark, we talked about our commitment to fair housing, whereas fair housing is an integral to the ethical commitment of members of the National Association of Realtors and is critical to the ability of all real estate professionals to serve their clients, customers, and communities. Now, therefore, I'm Michael Hannon, on behalf of the Newark City Council, in recognition of Fair Housing Month, want to take the opportunity to recognize Bay East and all real estate professionals that live in our community on their continued commitment to provide fair housing and further advocate for equal opportunities for all residents and prospective residents of the city of Newark. And so I award this to Bay East today. And thank you again for your advocacies for housing.
Big picture or?
Oh, sure.
just talk? Oh, I can talk?
Yes, whoever you would like to talk. Here, you hold it.
Okay.
Come here. Can't give a proclamation to myself. Not yet, at least. Okay, I'd like to speak.
Okay. Oh. Thank you so much. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, and city staff. I'm Diane Johansson, Chair of the Bay East Association of Realtors Local Government Relations Committee, and I am a full-time Realtor. On behalf of the Bay East Association of Realtors, I appreciate the opportunity to participate in this presentation. This evening, I'm here with my fellow Bay East members to accept the proclamation acknowledging April as Fair Housing Month. We thank the City Council for recognizing the importance of keeping fair housing issues top of mind for your residents. This proclamation is a powerful symbol of that commitment, and I accept it with this promise. Bay East will continue to ensure that all who seek to become homeowners are provided fair, equitable, and professional help from our members. We also promise to partner with the city in any initiatives to further the principles of fair housing. Again, thank you for this proclamation, and we look forward to working together with you. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, guys. All right. Now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes. The first item is public comment. This is the opportunity for the public to comment on items that are not on the agenda this evening. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to talk about any item that's not currently on the agenda? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment section. Now we're on the consent calendar. The consent calendar consists of the following. Assistant City Manager, you wanted to remove item D4?
D4, please.
Okay, so D4, colleagues, will be taken off. So the consent calendar is 1, approval of the audited demands, 2, the approval of the March 27, 2025 minutes, 3, adopt a resolution to 1, amend the employee classification plan to add the class specification of communications and public engagement manager, amend the compensation and benefit plan for the management, supervisory, and professional employees group to add the classification and salary range for the communications and public engagement manager and increase salaries related to engineering positions. 3, amend the city's salary schedule to in conformance with the California Code of Regulations Title II, Section 570.5. And 4, amend the 2024-2025 biennial budget and capital improvement plan to reflect these changes, add 1 full-time management analyst 2, and upgrade 1 full-time junior engineer position to associate civil engineer. Assistant City Manager Havorka, any item you want to discuss?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to have further discussions on any of those items? Colleagues, any questions, comments on the consent calendar? If not, can I get a motion and approval?
So moved.
By Councilmember Jorgens,
I'll second.
by Councilmember Grindal. Please vote. And that passes unanimously. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we have no public hearings. Other business, adopt a resolution approving an alternate means of compliance. Oh, do we need to go back to D4? We pulled that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Of course we go back to D4 because you pulled it.
Yes, please.
Sorry about that.
Thank you, Your
Thank you.
Honor. Staff pulled item D4 this evening. It is a routine contract amendment for contractual services, for administrative services related to the city's landscape and lighting districts and other special financing districts. We pulled this item so that a council member could recuse themselves from the item.
Okay, that's why. Okay, Councilmember Jorgens. Who's recusing? I just always assume it's going to be you, Councilmember Jorgens. Councilmember Contancio.
For item D4, I am recusing myself because I have real property interest in landscaping and lighting district number 11. That is my residence.
Assistant City Manager Hovorka.
As I mentioned, this is a routine contract amendment with Francisco and Associates, who we have contracted with before for services to assist the city with landscape and lighting district and special financing district administration services. Happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Great. Any questions from my colleagues on the council on D4? Folks, any questions on this item, D4? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion in a second, please.
So moved.
By Councilmember Jorgens,
I'll second.
by Councilmember Grindal. Please vote. And that passes with 4 ayes and Councilmember Contancio recusing herself.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Newark approving amendment number 2 to the contractual services agreement with Francisco and Associates, professional services related to landscape and lighting district and other special financing district administration services.
Thank you very much. Welcome back, Councilmember. Other business, F1 is adopt a resolution approving an alternate means of compliance for the Thornton Avenue Apartments project to provide 58 units for low-income households in lieu of payment of an affordable housing fee for a project consisting of 59 residential units, APNs 92A 919-16-2, 92A 919-17-2, 92-A 919-18, exempt from CEQA guidelines, sections 15332 and 9. Councilmember, you may need to recuse yourself.
Yes, I will need to recuse myself because I have a real property leasehold interest of my residence with regards to this item, so I will recuse myself.
Thank you, sir. City Manager Hovorka.
Yes, good evening again, Your Honor, and members of the City Council. This item involves consideration of staff's recommendation to improve an alternative means of compliance for a project being developed by Satellite Affordable Housing Associates, otherwise known as SAHA. This project is located on 3 property parcels on Thornton Avenue between Arden and Cherry Streets. If the council may recall, in March of 2023, the council assigned $12 million from the city's Affordable Housing Impact Fee Fund toward the development of this project. This project is entirely affordable as it contains 59 units at extremely low, very low, and low income levels. This includes one manager's unit. If the council may further recall, back in February, city staff reported to the council that the market to secure funding is hyper-competitive, which resulted in the city council agreeing for the city to take ownership of the property with a lease back to Saha in order to increase the project's competitiveness for funding. At the Planning Commission meeting held on March 25th, the Planning Commission, on a unanimous vote, issued all necessary entitlements for the project, including a tentative parcel map, minor use permit, design review, and a density bonus. The project conforms with the city's general plan and is consistent with the city's zoning, so we have no such resolutions to modify the general plan or city zoning for your consideration this evening. Also, the project is exempt under California Environmental Quality Act, so there is no CEQA-related resolution for your consideration this evening. However, the city's affordable housing ordinance requires developers to pay a housing impact fee to preserve or increase the supply of affordable housing in the city. As an alternative, developers can provide units at specified affordability levels, provided the council makes appropriate findings. Because this project is 100% affordable, staff recommends that the council approve a resolution tonight that allows the developer to build instead of paying the fee. Tonight, we have a presentation from Community Staff Development member Michael Cullum, our Housing Policy and Programs Manager, and we will begin with him tonight. Mr. Cullum, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and City Councilors. My name is Michael Cullum, the City's Housing Policy and Programs Manager. The item before you today concerns the Planning Commission's recommendation that City Council approve the Saha Affordable Housing Project's request to provide affordable housing on site as an alternative means of compliance to payment of the Affordable Housing Impact Fee. This is the third time that Council has heard matters related to the Saha project, and tonight's action would represent the final entitlement for the project. I'll provide brief introductions following this slide. I'll review consistency with the city's housing element for this project. I'll then briefly go over the project and its history, including the entitlements approved by the Planning Commission. As Assistant City Manager Havorka referenced, there are no actions to approve modifications to the zoning, general plan for this project, or CEQA, but I will still provide an overview of what the Planning Commission heard and how they approved it. And then at the end of the presentation, I'll provide staff's recommendation and be available for any questions. I'm joined this evening by Community Development Director, Mr. Stephen Turner, Deputy Community Development Director, Mr. Art Interiano, and Associate Director for Real Estate, Mr. Jonathan Assman from the Satellite Affordable Housing Associates, or SAHA, is also here this evening and available for questions. This has been a very busy couple of months for housing in Newark. This is Mr. Assman's fourth public meeting for this project in about 10 weeks, and so I think if we bring him or Ms. Soto back anytime soon, we're gonna have to put them on a committee. The City Council adopted the housing element on October 26 of 2023, whereafter the Department of Housing and Community Development found it compliant on with state law in December of 21st. Newark's housing element establishes policies and programs to plan for 1,874 new homes by 2031, including 464 for very low-income households and 268 for low-income households. Example programs, of which there are 45 in our housing element, but examples that apply to this project are H2.7, which provides financing for the development of new low-income homes, H4.1, developing local preferences for individuals who live and work in Newark, and H5.3, utilizing public land for the development of affordable housing. I'll take a snapshot into this project's history. This began on June 2nd of 2022 when the city released a Notice of Funding Availability, or NOFA, for up to $12 million for low-income housing with certain targeted populations. What that NOFA was looking for was really projects that would provide housing options for low-income families with children and individuals with disabilities. As of now, we do have over 200 low-income housing units restricted in Newark, but none of them are geared towards large families. Additionally, our housing element aims to provide 20 units of housing for individuals with intellectual or developmental disabilities. SAHA responded to this notice of funding availability, and in February of 2025, City Council authorized in March of 2023, City Council authorized a $12 million loan to SAHA for the project. In February, City Council authorized an amendment of that loan and approved the city's acquisition of the project site in order to improve the project's competitiveness for scarce state financing. Subsequently, in March of 2025, the Planning Commission approved several entitlements for the project. This tabular view of the schedule shows some additional significant milestones for the project. Following SAHA's selection and authorization of the loan, they began community engagement work to collect project input and feedback. Community meetings were held at the Newark Pavilion directly opposite the project site, and notices were sent to addresses within 500 feet of the project site for those first two community meetings, which took place on August 9th of 2023 and then October 11th of 2023. A third and final community meeting was conducted in January of 2025, and for that we actually sent notices to all addresses within 750 feet of the project. 2024 was spent refining the project's application to collect and respond to that community feedback as well as input from staff. And so after incorporating all of that feedback, SAHA submitted their final entitlement application in January. On March 25th of this year, the Planning Commission approved the project's entitlements and recommended that Council approve the project's request to provide affordable housing units on site as opposed to paying into the Affordable Housing Impact Fee Fund. And so now we are here on April 10th to hear the Commission's recommendation. Also today, not on the schedule, but I can say with a lot of satisfaction that we have completed execution of the loan documents for that loan amendment, and hopefully tomorrow the Alameda County Clerk will record the city's certificate of acceptance of the grant deed for the SAHA project site. Next week, April 15th, SAHA will apply for that multifamily housing program funding. We'll find out in August if that application was successful, with the earliest possible groundbreaking in spring of 2026 and a grand opening in 2028, provided funds are available. A quick reminder of what the project is. This consists of 59 homes in a 5-story building at 109 units per acre. The project was designed to assist with meeting the need for family-sized units, so 50% of those units will have 2 or 3 bedrooms. 15 of the units, or 25%, will be reserved for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities who receive services from the Regional Center of the East Bay. Regional Center of the East Bay provides individual case management, a day program, life skills and training, whatever services might be needed for the individual household. The project will also include family-friendly common area amenities such as a community room that opens up onto the courtyard with a play area, community gardens, and gathering spaces. The project includes 42 parking stalls on the ground level with a mechanized parking system. If you take out the 15 special needs households that are unlikely to own a vehicle, that's just shy of a 1-to-1 ratio of parking spaces to housing units. And then in addition to developing the site, SAHA would be the long-term property management and resident services provider. This is a snapshot of Alameda County rent limits. These are published annually by HUD and then adapted for each county in California. Framed in the red box is the income range that this project would serve, so from 60 to 30% of the area median income. these incomes are on par with what you would see in Contra Costa, but there's only actually 7 counties across California that have higher area median incomes than us. Alameda County area median income is very high. HUD also publishes, associated with income limits, the rent limits that correspond to those income levels. So we could say for a family of 4, on the lower end of rent that a household could possibly pay would be $1,355 in 2024, and up to $2,710 on the higher end. A nice thing about these rent and income restrictions to which the project would be regulated is that they include utilities. So in the column all the way to the left, you'll see the unit size broken out by bedroom, the area median income to which that unit would be restricted, how many units are in the project, if they're restricted to that special needs, developmentally disabled population, the utility allowance, which is also regulated by the county, the proposed rent, and then finally the gross rent. So ultimately, the rent that households are paying includes their utilities. This is an all electric building, so their utilities would be electricity and water. The project site is located directly across the street from the Newark Pavilion on Thornton between Cherry and Arden. Each parcel currently consists of a single-family home that was previously used for commercial uses, but they've been vacant since 2023. It's also just outside of the Old Town Specific Plan area. As I mentioned, this is about a ½ acre fronting Thornton Avenue and surrounded by other existing residential uses, including both multifamily and single family. Although originally built as single family homes, the buildings that are on the site haven't operated in that way for 30 to 50 years. They were most recently an auto sales center, nail salon, and residential contractor. Here's the proposed site plan. You'll see the ground floor uses include residential. There's 3 units down there, a lobby, bicycle and automobile parking, and utilities. The garage space has 3 accessible spaces and then 39 spaces in an automated puzzle lift system that would accommodate most vehicles up to a standard size SUV. And then the bike parking area, which is down there at the bottom left corner of the building, so that you don't have to wind your bike all the way through the lobby or through the garage to get to, that can store up to 32 bicycles. The general plan land use designation for this area is high-density residential, which is implemented by the Residential High-Density Zoning District. This typically is meant to accommodate a minimum density of 25 units per acre and up to 60 units net per acre, with the idea that it would be for apartments and condominiums that are generally 3 stories or more. The project is seeking or has been granted a density bonus by the Planning Commission to waive certain development standards to achieve the proposed density. These are some renderings that you've seen before of the project, but this is what it would look like. The image on the right is if you were standing across the street on Thornton. The image to the left is if you were looking at the project from the side. On this slide, the image to the left shows the back of the building, and that kind of inset shaded bit is the upper level courtyard. Here are some additional shots of that courtyard. You can see that it is above the garage, and you can see those doors in the image all the way to the left that go into the community room. Some more attractive renderings of the project, again from Thornton Avenue. Here's the courtyard where you can see the play structure. You can see a couple of different lounge areas, community garden space, and a barbecue area. This is the play structure that's intended to be on the courtyard. It's manufactured by a Danish company called Kompon that strives to make play and fitness a suitable and accessible lifestyle for people of all ages. This specific model is for children ages 5 to 12. It has a slide, monkey bars, a rock climbing element, and an accessible stairway. So it's actually considered ADA compliant. The manufacturer's recommended dimensions for safe play space is 26 by 31.5 feet for a total of 605 square feet. That's what you see in the image on the right. And so Saha is actually providing a greater area than recommended by the manufacturer. The courtyard itself is 3,230 square feet, as you can see here. I think this spells it out a little bit what all the different elements are in that courtyard. One nice thing about this, as I mentioned, is the play area, the larger amenity space, is directly off of the community room, which will allow folks to flow in and out between. And it's also right next to the laundry room. So if mom or dad have to step in to change the laundry, they're not too far from the kids who are playing outside. So on March 25th, at its public hearing, the City Planning Commission approved the following resolutions for the project: a resolution approving a design review, minor use permit, tentative parcel map, and density bonus; a resolution finding the purchase and ground lease of the project site is authorized by City Council, conforms to the city's general plan; and a resolution recommending City Council approve alternative means of compliance to payment of the affordable housing impact fee. Design review was approved and reviewed in accordance with Newark Municipal Code 17.34.02 and evaluated for satisfaction with 17.3406. In designing the building, the architects took care to articulate the building's massing both horizontally and vertically to reduce the visual impact of the building's height and its horizontal extent along Thornton Avenue. A minor use permit was approved for the project. Although the residential high zoning district permits buildings up to 100 feet, a minor use permit is still required if a building is proposed to be over 35 feet. This building is 60 feet, which allows Saha to maximize the number of affordable units and then include important mechanical equipment on the roof. I'll note that as part of the housing element, staff is looking to remove the minor use permit requirement in the RH zone. Tentative parcel map was approved to merge the 3 existing lots into the one approximately 0.5 acre lot. Here's an image of the existing 3 parcels with their 3 existing structures. And then here is the approved tentative parcel map. And then for the density bonus request, Newark Municipal Code Chapter 17.19 implements state density bonus law. The project qualifies for an 80% density bonus because it's providing 100% affordable housing. As a result, the project qualifies for up to 4 concessions and unlimited waivers. This project is seeking 4 waivers, which permits deviations from development standards that would have the effect of physically preventing construction of the project with the density bonus. I'll note that state density bonus law prohibits jurisdictions from requiring more than 1 parking space per 1-bedroom unit and 1.5 spaces per 2-bedroom unit. So looking here, this is a table of the 4 density bonus waivers requested for maximum lot coverage, minimum front setback, minimum landscape area, minimum open space area, and minimum parking. In order to accommodate each of these standards, the project would either have to reduce the number of affordable units or increase the building height, which would change the construction type and make the project significantly more expensive and therefore economically or financially infeasible. I'll note on the parking, per our code, this project would be required to provide 120 spaces. For reference, in a surface parking lot, that would work out to close to 2/3 of a football field. Whereas with state density bonus law, it would be required to provide 74.5, that density bonus law cap. But because this project is requesting a waiver, they're eligible for the 42 spaces as provided, which again, once you subtract the 15 special needs units, is 0.95 spaces per unit. Planning Commission found the project in conformance with the city's general plan, including both land use elements as well as housing elements. So this brings us to the alternative means of compliance, which the Planning Commission recommended City Council approve. Newark Municipal Code requires developers to pay a housing impact fee to preserve or increase the supply of housing. This project would be subject to a fee of $1.1 million. Alternatively, a project proponent can provide on-site affordable housing subject to Planning Commission's recommendation to City Council and City Council's approval. The minimum percentage of on-site affordable housing that this project would be subject to is 12 or 5 units. The project is significantly exceeding that minimum. And so as a result, the project is eligible for alternative compliance, would be subject to the proposed income limits, which will be controlled by a city regulatory agreement. Staff retained CEQA consultant services from Helix Environmental Planning, who found that the project met all requirements for a Class 32 infill development categorical exemption. And the analysis included recommended conditions of approval, which were approved by the Planning Commission and accepted by the developer related to air quality, biological resources, and noise. So, following this March 25th Planning Commission meeting, as I mentioned, the title company picked up all documents today to complete the acquisition of the city's loan. Hopefully tomorrow, the Alameda County will let us know that they've recorded that. And then on or before April 15th, next week, Saha will apply for the Department of Housing and Community Development's multifamily housing program. The developer will satisfy all conditions of approval prior to the city's issuance of the building permit. And if funding provides, the project will break ground as early as spring 2026 and open in 2028. So in the Planning Commission, by a unanimous vote, approved design review, minor use permit, tentative parcel map, and density bonus, made findings of conformance with the general plan for the city's acquisition of the lease, and recommended council approve alternative means of compliance to paying the housing impact fee. And so it is staff's recommendation that council adopt the resolution approving alternative means of compliance to payment of housing impact fees. And that concludes my presentation, and I welcome any questions.
Thank you for the detailed report. Colleagues, before I turn it over to the public for their comments, any clarifying questions that anybody has? Councilmember Grindal.
Yes. We're just asking questions now, your discussion later?
Yeah, clarifying, yes.
I'm sorry, mechanical parking?
Yes.
Is that the first in Newark that we're achieving mechanical parking?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay, just interested to know.
You've been here so long.
Yeah.
And what were the, you mentioned there were 4 concessions granted.
Correct.
And parking was one, but what were the others?
I'll go back to that slide. Give me one moment. It was maximum lot coverage, minimum front setback, minimum landscape area, minimum open space area, and minimum parking.
Thank you. And otherwise, I have some comments, but I'll wait my turn.
Sure. Other clarifying questions? Councilmember Contancio.
Yes, regarding the parking, is it proposed to be first come, first served then, since it's not going to be 1-to-1 ratios?
I believe it will be administered via a lottery, but Mr. Assman, you want to confirm that?
It'll be assigned parking, and
Okay.
people can submit a reasonable request accommodation if they need a space for mobility.
Thank you. So.
And also,
Yeah, so it will be assigned and individual households can request a reasonable accommodation if they need parking.
okay, thank you. I also wanted to know for this particular project, how close is it to public transportation? I know that you were mentioning there's bike racks available,
question.
but how close is the public transportation?
It's just under a half mile from the 200 bus service that provides regular transit service every half hour to both Fremont and Union City BART stations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just some clarifying questions, and I appreciate Councilmember Grindal's question, but for those that are listening at home, please describe briefly what is mechanical parking?
Gladly. And I do actually have a couple of extra slides that I can show to demonstrate
holding out on
this.
us, huh?
Yeah, whipping them out. So these were included in the project plan, so I just I reserved them here if there were additional questions. But this is what's known as a puzzle parking system. And so in the page, we'll say, to the left, data sheet DE61. In the middle there, it says the functionality of D-Park Digital. You can see how there's a series of arrows that indicate how a vehicle would move when an individual wants to call their car. So they would use a digital system to order their car and their space number. And then the system kind of like, you can imagine it if you recall that old game of traffic, right? Where you had to move the car through the lanes of traffic, or maybe a laundromat, right? Would kind of rotate the clothes, would ultimately bring your vehicle around to you. And then you see as well in the other images how the system accommodates vehicles of different sizes.
And I've seen this parking system for boats. A lot of times they'll park boats in this manner because space is very limited and very expensive. You mentioned they were granted unlimited number of waivers. Again, for my audience that's watching at home, does the city have any discretion on those waivers, or because it's a completely affordable project, we're almost required to approve those waivers? Clarify that, please.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Mr. Mayor. State density bonus law requires that we permit an unlimited number of waivers to development standards for projects providing 100% affordable housing.
Okay, thank you. Folks, are there any questions that you have regarding this project? Any questions from the public on this project? Yes, Supervisor Marquez. Yes, please. Your comments are always welcome.
I miss local government at the city level. This is very exciting. I just want to commend staff. That was a fabulous presentation, and just want to lend my support. We don't know what we're going to do just quite yet with respect to renewing the county's A1 housing bond. There is discussion, but aside from that, because that's more of a long-term goal, but in the immediate future, just want to let you know, please see my office as a resource. If we could write letters of support for funding, advocate at the state level, advocate with our congressman, this is really important and a priority, and just want to commend the sustainability features, the inclusivity in terms of open space. And when I was on Hayward City Council, it was really, really difficult to secure affordable housing that had more than 1 or 2 bedrooms. It is so important. We know that many of our families are multi-generational. Many of us can relate to this. We are the sandwich generation, where we may be raising our kids, young adults, as well as caring for our elders. So this is an amazing feature, and just really commend you for being innovative and excited to be there for the groundbreaking. So I hope you support it. Thank you.
Thank you for your advocacy, Supervisor. That's greatly appreciated, and you know darn well we're going to take advantage of that. Councilmember Grindal.
Yes, and thank you for letting me another crack at a question. So the city provided the request for proposals or notice of funding availability said 12 million. Is that whole 12 million included in this project? And more to the point, what's the total cost that the other sources that we would be bringing in? In other words, what did that 12 million leverage from, again, assuming success, a successful application, because I'm an optimist. So if you could just let me know how that 12 million was leveraged, or
yes,
whatever
sir,
it was.
thank you. Yes, so the city's contribution is $12 million. The amendment to the loan that council approved in February decreased the loan value to account for the value of the land for which the city is acquiring it. So the city's total contribution to the project is 12 million, but where that is reflected in the loan is about 8.5. Mm-hmm. A certain portion of that, about $850,000, has been made available to Saha for pre-development expenses, design, architecture, engineering. And so that's the city's portion of the contribution. Saha has already secured $1.5 million from the State Department of Developmental Services to provide those special needs units. And then the additional significant leverage that the project is seeking is approximately $18 to $19 million in funds from the state HCD for that multifamily housing program. And then about $22 to $23 million in federal tax credit equity. So we'll find out about MHP in August, and then the tax credit application deadline is in September.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just a follow-up question on that, Michael, assuming for a moment that they're able to get the state funding through HCD, does it then naturally flow that you're more likely to get the federal funding or federal grant monies to come along with that?
Yes, sir. So it is a requirement
That you secure the state?
that you secure the state funding
Okay.
first, yes.
Excellent. Again, folks, any other questions, comments on this project? If not, I'll return it to my colleagues for comments. Councilmember Grindal.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So first of all, wonderful project and a great presentation. Really appreciate the informative presentation. Given that we're only dealing with a small thing for the benefit of the council and the community, I really appreciate going over all the details. So thank you very much. And in line with our supervisor's comments, please let us know how we can reach out to other community members. If the council as individuals can help to advocate for the project with the state, please reach out, and we will work with our networks to try to the extent that it helps. We don't want to annoy the people who are making the decision, but maybe annoy them a little, so they give us some grace. So just please let us know how we can help. Secondly, the parking is going to be a concern on this location. I understand it's a concession that had to be given. I'm heartened by the fact that there is parking allowed along Thornton, along that whole section, and it's fairly lightly used at this point. So if market rate projects came into this area and they had a similar reduction, it's going to be problems. So if we have the right mix, I think the parking should work with that added street parking. At least, again, I'm an optimist. I'm hoping that will work out, but just wanted to raise that as an issue. We are still, we're urbanizing, but we're still a suburban area, and parking can be an issue if even at one per unit, but to be even slightly below that, it could be a challenge. And just wanted to bring that forward. And just with that, I want to say I do. I mean, the ask of the council is kind of a no-brainer in the sense that you're asking for. We have an ordinance that requires a fee to pay for affordable housing, but the project is 100% affordable. So I'm obviously in support of that. So thank you.
Great. Other questions, comments? Councilmember Contancio.
Yes. Thank you so much for your presentation. I genuinely really enjoyed not only hearing all the work that everyone's put into it, but how we could anticipate this is going to really assist and help our community. I am, though, concerned about the individuals who may not have the parking, especially if they have a disability. If there's any way to also consider prioritizing those who have a disability to have, or to even have not only better parking, but actually assigned parking, especially if they have handicap signs, or it's my understanding that those particular units may have individuals that are working already directly with the regional center. And so that is concerning to me to potentially not have parking for those who are already handicapped. And so I just would like to hope that in the future that we could also make those considerations as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And as I heard your comments, I think 3 spaces will be dedicated for handicap parking. Is that what I thought I heard you say?
That's correct.
Okay.
And the Regional Center of the East Bay also provides transportation to the individuals it services who have off-site services.
And I do agree with Councilmember Contancio that if we have the ability to prioritize folks who certainly need parking because of their disability, I certainly want to make sure that SAHA accommodates for that, and it sounds like that they will. I love this project. I don't know what else to say. I love the project. We had an opportunity to have a conversation with our state senator who chairs the housing committee for the state of California. And she loved this project when we spoke to her last week. And in fact, she loved it so much that she immediately put us in touch with the director for HCD to have a conversation with them to let them know that this project was moving forward, that we would certainly look for their support. But I also recognize there's a lot of other communities that are competing for those very limited dollars. And as much as we love our project, there's many other communities out there that love their project. So I want to thank city staff, Assistant City Manager Havorka, for just the creativity in saying, you know what, we will position Saha in a better situation if we are the owners of the land versus them owning it by increasing their competitiveness. So I thought that was just an outstanding recommendation. And at the end of the day, it may not prove where we're successful, but we certainly need to give Saha every opportunity to be in the best competitive position possible to get that state funding. So kudos to city staff for thinking of that as an opportunity, and that's all we can do. I'm certain some of our residents may have questions, should the funding not become available? We, of course, then the city will own that land. And I would imagine at that point, either Saha or somebody comes up with an alternative financing plan, or we make it available in the future for some other developer to come forward. Would that be a true assessment?
Yes, sir. And
Okay.
there, if I may, there is a bill advancing through the legislature at this time to authorize a $10 billion affordable housing bond. That would be a over 3-time investment on top of what the legislature last authorized in 2018. So we'd have significantly more funds available.
Great. And I heard that we have the support of our local supervisor, so all of us chiming in together, something good will be developed there. If there's any other questions or comments, I'll look for a motion to support staff's recommendation.
So moved.
By Councilmember Contancio, by the Vice Mayor Little. Please vote. And that passes unanimously with Councilmember Jorgens having to recuse himself.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Newark approving an alternative means of compliance to payment of housing impact fees for the LaPache Homes. That's in here. Okay.
Did we catch all that, City Attorney?
Just one moment, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
Do you have a different one in there?
Do I need to leave again? No. As we wait, I don't know if many of you knew it, but our city manager's back in New York City. And I think he's at the Giants Yankee game tonight. Do we know how the Giants did tonight?
They're off tonight.
Oh, they're off tonight?
They're
Is it
playing
tomorrow?
tomorrow. Yep.
All right, all right. Can't trick people who are recording the game. I keep trying, don't I?
Okay, sorry about that, Mr. Mayor. Resolution approving alternative means of compliance for Thornton Avenue Apartments project to provide 58 units for low-income housing, for low-income households in lieu of payment of an affordable housing fee for a project consisting of 59 residential rental units.
Thank you, City Attorney. Again, great presentation by staff. Thank you for that. The next item is our Newark Resource Center update. I'll turn it over to Assistant City Manager Havorka.
Thank you, Your Honor. On October 10th, 2024, City Council approved a contract for renovations to a building adjacent to Jerry Raber Ash Street Park. At that time, we briefly shared the vision of that facility, the city's first resource center, where community members can connect with area service providers. Tonight, we are excited to share the progress of the renovations, as well as the recent and planned outreach to ensure a successful resource center. Recreation and Community Services Director Nick Cuevas and Recreation Supervisor Jasenia Taimani will be sharing more about our outreach activities. We begin tonight's presentation with a construction update from Strategic Initiatives Manager Roya Gonzalez. Ms. Gonzalez.
Thank you. Good evening, Your Honor, and members of the City Council. I'm pleased to be here this evening to provide an update on the Newark Resource Center project. Tonight's presentation will contain two parts, and I will be co-presenting with Recreation and Community Services Director Nick Cuevas and Recreation Supervisor Jasenia Taimani. The agenda for this evening will be, I will provide some background information, review the design and construction, and give an update on the construction schedule. After providing an update on the construction schedule, I will then pass it over to the Recreation and Community Services team to provide an overview of the Newark Resource Center programming and community outreach. This presentation will conclude with next steps and an opportunity for the public and the City Council to ask any questions you may have. Before I provide an update on the construction progress, it is important to give some context on the significance of this project. The Newark Resource Center will serve as a connection point for social services in the Newark community. The need for such a center arises from the growing recognition that many individuals and families face significant barriers in accessing social services. This resource center will provide a space for local nonprofits and community organizations to connect with the Newark community. And with that, I'm excited to provide an update on the construction progress. So the Newark Resource Center will be in an existing City of Newark building adjacent to the Viola Blythe building at 37365 Ash Street. It is at the corner of the Ash Street cul-de-sac within the Jerry Raber Ash Street Park. And this is what the building looked like before we started construction. It was formerly used by Head Start, which was vacated in 2019. It is also home to the Ash Street Summer Camp program, and it's important to note that it will remain the home of the Ash Street Summer Camp program. Funding for this project comes from many different funding sources. The initial seed funding for this project was allocated from the American Rescue Plan Act funds. And thanks to the lobbying efforts of Assemblymember Alex Lee, the city secured $1 million from the state of California. There's an additional $232,000 in community development block grant funds, and the remaining $160,000 is appropriated from the Capital Improvement Fund. In June of 2023, the city contracted with KPA Group for the architecture and engineering services for the construction documents. And the following year, as the construction documents were nearing completion, the city contracted with Cumming Management Group for construction management services. And on October 10th, the City Council awarded the contract to S&H Construction for the Newark Resource Center. Construction began shortly thereafter in the middle of November. And here is a rendering of what the site will look like as we complete the project. The rendering really shows the extent of the site work and how it will positively impact the entire site. The interior renovations will include updated bathrooms, minor roof repairs, interior ADA upgrades, a new kitchenette, updated storage, and a welcoming lobby and reception area. As the rendering shows, there will be landscaping in both front and back, a new playground, new parking stalls, security lighting enhancements, among other improvements. The project will also include painting the restroom building on site and the Viola Blythe Community Center, really creating a cohesive site. And here is the color palette for the exterior of the building. The color palette really draws inspiration from the photo in the corner, adding a touch of brightness while maintaining the balance of the surrounding residential neighborhood. The inspiration for the interior colors were pulled from the existing mural in the building. This mural was created by Linda Patterson, who is a local Newark artist, and she partnered with the community on this mural. It's a little difficult to see in the photo, but the mural says Friends for Ash Street Community Enrichment. Friends for Ash Street Community Enrichment was a nonprofit that started in the 90s and provided services to the youth of the Ash Street neighborhood. The mural has intentionally been preserved to hold on to this piece of Newark's history. The mural has been protected during construction. I was actually just at the site yesterday, and the interior paint has just begun, and so the space is really starting to come together. Now that we've covered the design and finishes, let's look ahead at the timeline. As I mentioned, construction began in November of 2024, and it has continued to progress on schedule. With the project nearing completion, there's only a few significant milestones ahead. The key milestones at this point are really related to the PG&E design and construction completion. S&H, the city's contractor, cannot complete their work until PG&E completes their piece of the construction. I am happy to say that in April, just last week, we did get the final PG&E design, which allows us to be put into the construction queue. So I have every hope that we could get their work completed by the end of June, which would allow our contractor to come in and finish up their work. However, there is a potential schedule delay as we don't have a construction date from PG&E at this point. The city's contractor would still have substantial completion by the first week of June of 2025 while we wait for what could be up to August for PG&E to complete our work, and then the contractor would need to come back in for about a week or so to finish things up. So we're looking at August 2025 as a potential scheduled delay. So now that I've covered construction progress, we can move on to the programming. The project team has been working closely with the Recreation and Community Services Department, and we look forward to celebrating the Newark Resource Center grand opening later this summer or earlier fall. And with that, I will pass it over to Recreation and Community Services Director Nick Cuevas.
Good evening, Your Honor and members of City Council. Thank you, Roya, for the construction update on the center. As we enter the programming phase, I would like to introduce Jasenia Tamani, Recreation Supervisor, who will oversee the center and its programming, as well as the public art program for the City of Newark. Jasenia has been busy behind the scenes anticipating the center's opening. This section of the presentation will discuss the programming design for the Resource Center, which will serve all members of the Newark community. The center will also function as a key link to the broader Tri-City Resource Center network. Its primary goal is to integrate into the larger Alameda County Human Services Network while complementing and enhancing the services provided by existing local organizations. The staff's mission is to provide on-site classes and resources as needed, bringing service providers together in a centralized location. Throughout the construction phase, staff has been actively conducting outreach and becoming familiar with area services. This presentation highlights the key components and necessary steps for creating a successful community resource center. One that offers a welcoming and accessible space for residents and individuals in need. To establish a successful community resource center, staff will evaluate programming through the following key frameworks.
Honorable Mayor and Council, it is an honor to present to you today alongside Roy Gonzalez and Nick Cuevas. I do want to quickly highlight Veronica Torres, RTE Special Assistant, who has been very hard at work on all things Newark Resource Center. Thank you, Veronica. As previously mentioned, we are in the planning phase for the Resource Center. We're really focusing on accessibility, collaboration, empowerment, and community building. We really want to ensure that resources and services are inclusive and easily accessible to the community members. Collaboration is a key component of our planning, fostering partnerships with local organizations, businesses, and government agencies to expand services and outreach. By working together, the center can offer a broad range of services and reach a larger audience in our community. Not only do we want our community to come to our center to seek resources, but we hope that they can walk in and feel empowered when they do so. Our goal is to provide opportunities that foster self-sufficiency, personal growth, and help individuals gain confidence and independence. The Resource Center is designed to serve as a connecting point, but we also see this as an opportunity to really build community. We want to create a welcoming space where residents can connect, share ideas, and build support networks to help them navigate through these seasons of their life. These guiding principles help shape a resource center that can effectively serve and strengthen the Newark community.
To drive these efforts forward and ensure effective programming, the Newark Resource Center is committed to empowering residents and strengthening the community through accessible services, meaningful partnerships, and responsive support. To achieve this, staff is focusing on 3 key areas. 1, outreach, utilizing a variety of outreach methods to ensure community members are aware of the center and its future offerings. 2, partnership development, collaborating with local service providers, nonprofits, and governmental agencies to foster inclusive decision-making regarding programming and services. And 3rd, feedback mechanisms. An ongoing feedback process will be conducted regularly to ensure that the programming aligns with the community needs and prioritizes high-demand services without limiting access to essential programs and space. Programming is to be determined based on the results of upcoming outreach efforts. Here, staff has put together the following engagement sessions. And so we have a lunch and learn community surveys, which opens on Saturday, April 12th at the Family Day at the park, so it's this weekend. And community listening sessions, such as the Silliman Center, Senior Center, and Newark Library. We will also be going out to a couple known homeless encampment areas where they kind of congregate, and kind of also speaking with them as well to kind of understand their needs too.
As Nick mentioned, we did do our first community engagement, which happened on Tuesday, our lunch and learn that was specifically for community organizations and local nonprofits. I want to thank Vice Mayor Little for being in attendance and supporting us at this lunch and learn. I also want to highlight former council member and current government affairs and policy officer for First 5 Alameda County, Anna Apodaca, was in attendance. Barbara Ledesma Reinhardt represented State Senator Dr. Aisha Wahab's office, and education providers Ashley Acosta with Newark Unified School District and Evelyn Diaz Sanchez from Ohlone College were also present. I am happy to say that we had 14 nonprofits, 13 government agencies, 2 education providers, 2 faith-based organizations, and 3 health providers on site at our lunch and learn. It was really an opportunity for us to share the vision of the Resource Center and how important our partnerships with these providers is going to be for our success. One of the exercises that we did was we really invited them to envision the future with us. We asked them to write a headline article, to pick a date in the future, and just tell us what they envisioned the Resource Center to be. I'm going to share a few of those, if I may. Jerry Lovejoy with Compassion Network chose the date June 1st of 2027. The article headline was, Newark Resource Center receives National Best Practices Award for their service to the community. And I thought that was a great one to strive for. But I must admit, my favorite one of the morning, came from Linda Liu with TCV Food Bank and Mobile Pantry. She selected the date of April 8th, 2035. Newark Resource Center closes just 10 years after opening due to all community needs being met. The article went on to say that city staff took an early retirement and was now enjoying life on a private island. Needless to say, I am definitely shooting for that 10-year goal. But we don't want to just envision the future of the Resource Center with our community partners. We really want to bring in the community as well. And like mentioned, this Saturday, we get an opportunity to really be in community with our residents. Our survey initiative will kick off at Family Day at the Park, providing an opportunity for city staff to engage directly with our community members in a welcoming and enjoyable environment. As mentioned, Resource Center staff will be on site to encourage participation, address questions, and ensure a diverse range of voices are represented. The feedback gathered will play a vital role in shaping the future programming, resource distribution, and our strategic planning efforts. Following the kickoff event, surveys will remain available online and at various facilities to facilitate widespread participation. Another one of our community engagement efforts is our community listening sessions that will be taking place through the month of April. These listening sessions aim to share our vision and hear the voices of our community. Gathering community perspectives is vital to understanding what resources are being currently utilized, identifying existing gaps, and determining what additional services may be needed at our resource center. Our community engagement efforts will help provide a thorough understanding of the community's needs and help create a shared vision for our resource center.
Okay. Staff will thoroughly review all community engagement efforts, including surveys and listening sessions, to ensure the center's programming reflects the needs and priorities of Newark residents. By centering community feedback and also considering the broader Tri-City network and its wide array of service providers, the center will deliver the most relevant programs, resources, and services to best support the community. And now the question on everyone's, I went over a slide. Not that one yet. And now the question on everyone's mind, when is the grand opening? And so, as you may recall from the scheduled construction, will be completed this summer. While we don't have a confirmed date just yet, we will be sharing more information soon. We're incredibly excited to celebrate this amazing new community amenity alongside council members, the public, and all of the partners who have helped bring this vision forward. And that brings us to any questions that you may have tonight.
Any clarifying questions before?
Yeah, I have one quick question. You know, I know that we're working, I'm in love with the idea. I'm a huge, huge fan. You guys are doing rocking it. My question is, what other languages are we going to offer all this stuff in? Is it going to be just a general coming in, or will every organization be responsible for multilingual opportunities and communication?
So right now, the Recreation and Community Service Department offers material both in English and Spanish. We do understand and realize that there are other languages that are being spoken in the community, and so there will be an effort to ensure that there is language services provided for them, which is great, as many of these service providers that we work with already provide all the information and materials in the languages that we need. So really what it would be is just us requesting different materials in different languages to serve those community members. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is an exciting project. Is there anybody in the audience that has a question, comment on this project? Seeing none, I'll return it to the council for comments. Councilmember Grindal.
Sorry, I pushed request to speak instead of turning on the mic. First of all, thank you for the presentation. It was very informative, and all the work you're doing is going to be a really important project for Newark, and just very excited with the work you're doing and the information and interaction you're having with the community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Comments down here?
Yes.
Councilmember Contancio.
Thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I really appreciate all of your effort and all the collaboration, but also your dedication and hard work. So you could really just see it even when you're talking and every time you're going into the community. So I just want to say I appreciate everyone that's working on this project.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Councilmember Jorgens.
Yeah, I just want to echo my colleagues' comments. I'm really excited to see Center open. You know, it's clear that there's been really high level, thought, care, and passion that's gone into the construction management, the philosophizing of the programming, the community engagement, and I'm just really excited to see that the center that come to fruition, the center be open, encourage members of our community to make their voice heard on what they want to see and what services they need from the center.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Little.
Well, as you guys know, I'm a huge, huge fan, and I want to tell you guys, I'm so glad you guys are not just doing these projects on what you guys think. You guys are making the effort to hear from the public, but the big thing is you guys are reaching out to nonprofits, and that is so incredibly smart. I used to run a nonprofit for 5 years, and one of the hardest things about running a nonprofit is office space. That is one of the toughest things, and if you want to have a professional meeting, you can't always have it at My Coffee right next to Home Depot. Not every meeting. So I just want to tell you, thank you so much for this. I'm a huge fan. I appreciate what you're doing. And truly, great job, Newark Recreation and Community Services. You guys are on fire. If there's anything that I can do, please feel free to let me know. If you need a translator at any of your things, please just reach out. I'm more than happy to help out. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you for everything. And you guys remind, I replaced Newark Police Department's pocket. So now I have on here Newark Resource Center sticker. So just an FYI. Thank you.
She drives a 19. I love this project, as you know. It's funny, I racked my mind. You won't remember this, Assistant City Manager Havorka, but I was back in West Bend, Wisconsin a number of years ago, and I saw where they had converted a gasoline station basically into a resource center where nonprofits were coming in. They were actually providing pastries and coffee so folks could have something and make a donation to the nonprofits. And I said to the Assistant City Manager, why can't we have something like that here in Newark where we bring everybody together? And we now see that it's coming to fruition. And I think once word gets out on the street, you had great attendance at the lunch, but I think once word gets out that this is an opportunity to engage with your clientele and your customer base, I can envision, state Senate offices, supervisor offices wanting to come in on a periodic basis and have their staff available to answer questions and hear from the public. I can see legal services certainly wanting to come in and provide services to those that can't afford legal assistance. But I think we're just scratching the surface in terms of the capability of this resource center. So I thought the renderings were outstanding. I like it a lot. I hear from the seniors and those that work, there's not enough parking. And I tell them, the senior center is like right across the parking lot. All you got to do is walk down a pathway and you're there. And, you're never going to do something that satisfies 100% of the people 100% of the time. But this is really one of those projects that we, the city, I think, can be extremely proud of moving forward. I look forward to the grand opening. I think it'll be a well-attended event that day. And again, thank you to the Parks folks for their enthusiasm, because it's your enthusiasm that brings people to the Resource Center. When they see that the city staff care and others care about the issues that they're dealing with and confronting on a daily basis, they're more likely to come back. And the fact that we're going to provide the translation services in a neighborhood where that's really going to be incumbent is simply going to make it a better opportunity for folks. The only question I have is the bathroom depicted on the screen on the left-hand side, which I've been in there before. It's kind of tired, kind of old. I'm assuming that we've done pretty much a complete renovation of that restroom. Would that be a correct characterization?
Thank you for the question. Unfortunately, the extent of the work on the restroom in the Viola Blythe Community Service Center at this point is just in the exterior. So they will be power washed, painted. This project doesn't touch the interior of either of those buildings. I will just note that it was recommended for some improvements in the facilities master plan and parks master plan, though.
Excellent. I mean, we only have so many dollars. And again, kudos to staff, Assistant City Manager, for looking at the variety of funding that became available, whether it be ARPA or the State Assembly Member's Office. I mean, there's a variety of funding sources. So we went out and turned over every stone to look for money that was available, and the real cost to the city is really minimal at the end of the day. So congratulations on a project well done. Thank you for the presentation. This is informational only, I imagine? Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Great presentation. It's always great to see the parks people moving up to the second row. Sit in the last row and Assistant City Manager updates?
Yes, I have a few. Speaking of the Rockin' Recreation and Community Services Department, tomorrow night they will be hosting a silent splash at the Silliman Activity Center that's designed for children with special needs. There is a fee for the program. It does include a variety of engaging activities, including sensory stations, arts and crafts, and more. And then, of course, Saturday, we've already mentioned Family Day at the Park. Again, that's Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. over at Newark Community Center Park. And that is a free event with egg hunts, crafts, games, and more. And then Silliman will be open during spring break. That's the week of April 21st, Monday through Friday from 12:30 to 3 p.m. for recreation swim hours. And then registration is now open for our Junior Giants program, and registration is at gojuniorgiants.org. That's gojrgiants.org. And that is a free 8-week non-competitive baseball and softball league for boys and girls ages 5 to 13 years old. And that concludes my report tonight.
Excellent. Colleagues, comments? Councilmember Contancio.
Thank you. Last week, I did represent Newark as a guest speaker at the San Francisco Library Corrett Center, alongside other elected officials, including Rob Bonta, and he's the Attorney General of California, and Fiona Ma, who is the California State Treasurer. So I did that with Friends of Filipinos. Also on May 10th, there's Olympia Festival at New Park Mall. And I also have been using some energy to work with representing Newark on one of the boards that I'm also on, which is the Ava Energy. And I'm on that alongside Supervisor Marquez, and you've just heard from her today. I did want to mention as well that Newark Memorial High School does have their graduation. That is set for Friday, May 30th from 5 to 7, and they are asking if council and the mayor could also come this year, as they would like to set it as a tradition. I know last year was the first time that City Hall individuals, including the mayor and council, were able to be present. And so I think that they really appreciated that as well. Thank you.
Great. In fact, they gave us robes and our colors.
Yes.
And I still have mine, probably in my trunk of my car.
Oh, wonderful. And you could use it again, because actually I was just talking at the PTA meeting with Principal Dr. Murphy, as well as with the superintendent, and she's asked if individuals can let them know what your sizes and robes are so that you can represent your school colors.
Excellent. Councilmember Jorgens.
I just want to thank the recreation team for all the work that's going in on Family Day at the Park. I know that's going to be it's always a huge event, and, it's something that's been, such a highlight for, our community for many years. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be another great year. So I want to thank you for all the work that you're putting in right now to make sure that it happens.
Councilmember Grindal.
I'll get it eventually. Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I wanted to reiterate what you've heard it a couple times. The Family Day at the Park is going to be this Saturday, and right after the Family Day at the Park, over at the high school, is going to be their spring showcase. Now, the spring showcase is going to highlight a lot of the STEAM programs in the school district. It's going to include mini performance by the drama departments, resuscitating their show that just closed, and there'll be musical performances, dancing, taiko drums. So there's a lot of cultural activities and STEAM activities that are going to be showcased. So encourage people to go out. That starts at 1 p.m. in the quad at the Newark Memorial High School. Lastly, as part of the Library Commission, we met at the Niles Library. It's a tiny historic library, and it's ironically, it's It's only open on Fridays, which is the only day our library is closed. So if you're really jonesing to go to a library, and you can make it all the way across to Niles, it is an interesting historic building. So I had the opportunity to go there. And at that meeting, there was discussion about the vulnerability of library funding to all the chaos that's occurring in the federal level, but although for libraries more challenged with what might happen with state funding with the recession that's been caused by the games being played in Washington. So there is some vulnerability, but it's down the road at this point. So the libraries are doing well. And lastly, I'm having my fourth coffee with a council member event on April 26th. That's a Sunday actually it's a Saturday at the Old Town Starbucks at 7324 Thornton. So please stop by. If you have questions, you want to talk, you want to just let me know how we can make Newark better. I want to hear it. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilmember. Vice Mayor Little.
So I have this Saturday is going to be at the exact same time as Fun at the Parks. Is going to be the VIP Pokemon meetup for Birch Grove Intermediate and Primary, and it's gonna we've had over 20 kids come out every single time with their Pokemon sets and trade cards, and it got kind of wild last time. So now we have a mediator to make sure the trade is good. We had some older kids trying to get some really good cards from little kids, so now we have a middle person for that. And also I have my senior seminar workshop coming up on May 1st. It's gonna be What the Heck is Social Security? Answering questions. If we still have Social Security, we'll find out. I mean, we might have to cancel it because there might not be Social Security.
We still have Social Security, and that's not alarm our residents.
Okay, just double checking, hopefully. And then the other thing, another project that I'm working on right now, he has coffee with this council member. I have cocktail with the council member. I'm doing a happy hour for real estate agents. And I just want to sit down and talk with them and just have, a happy hour and just talk with them about why are people buying in Newark? Why are people not buying in Newark? Because I think, in my opinion, I wish Bay East had stayed. Basically, we need to find out kind of what's going on. Like what's important? What do people want? Why are they choosing us? Why are they choosing other cities? And if we have that basis and we have that information, we're going to be able to make a lot more decisions as a city. So that we're planning that. I have a meeting tomorrow to plan a date for that, but it'll be sometime in May.
Excellent. A couple of announcements. The city is seeking a volunteer to serve, and Council, I'd ask you to get the word out on this. Seeking a volunteer to serve on the Paratransit Advisory and Planning Committee, PAPCO. They advise the Alameda County Transportation Commission on the development and implementation of paratransit programs. They also make decisions on transportation funding for seniors and people with disabilities. The meetings are typically held on the fourth Monday of each month from 1:30 to 3 at the Alameda CTC office in Oakland. Unfortunately, you cannot attend via Zoom. You have to be there in person. Applicants must be Newark residents who use transportation to support seniors and people with disabilities. Applications can be obtained through the city clerk's office. Thank you, Madam Clerk, until that position is filled. April is also Distracted Driving Awareness Month. In this effort to prevent distracted driving and save lives on the roads, the Newark Police Department is reminding all drivers to stay focused, keep their eyes forward, and keep their hands on the wheel. Whether checking a phone, eating, or adjusting the radio, distractions can have devastating consequences. The Newark Police Department will be actively looking for drivers throughout the month who are in violation of the state's hand-free cell phone law. I apologize in advance. Should I be caught? No, that won't happen. That won't happen. Also this Sunday is a big event at the New Park Mall. The folks are going to be celebrating the Holly Festival. And it'll be at 3 o'clock. If you'd like to show up early, 2:30, 2:45, you can join me on the stage. I was told not to wear a suit because colors will be flying. And so I will be wearing a white Newark shirt and let the colors fall where they may. Also, tomorrow night, Assemblymember Alex Lee, a big supporter of the city of Newark, is going to be honoring his Unsung Heroes Awards. And that'll be at the Fremont Event Center. and it will be starting at 6 o'clock. And my understanding is former Councilmember Susie Collazo will be providing food. So certainly you're encouraged to attend. There will be a number of Newark folks that are going to receive awards, including Avanzando of Newark, Michael Marzano from Newark, and Blanca Silva from Newark will all be recognized for their efforts within the community. So you're certainly encouraged to attend that if you're able to do so. If there's nothing else, we are adjourned.